Hi guys, welcome back to the channel for another video. So recently the channel crossed first 100 subscribers and thank you everyone for supporting me. So in that context I wanted to make a special vlog. So what can be more special than making a vlog over the legendary Maruti 800, and this is the car that I personally own. Obviously this belongs to my father, but he doesn't drive it anymore, so I drive it occasionally. And yeah, this car my father brought it in 2003 December, so this December it's going to turn 17 years old and obviously complete 17 years. And as such I want to give you a tour of this car and also give you the drive impression and tell you how a 17-year-old car feels to drive out on the road. And before starting, if you are first to the channel, then don't forget to like the video, also subscribe to the channel and press that bell notification icon so that you get notified every time I upload a new video to this channel. With that said, let's get started. So like always, starting with the keys, these are the key that you will get with the 800. Physical key, nothing special. Maruti logo to the one side, Maruti written on the other side, and single key performs every function in this car: opening the doors, locking the doors, starting the car, even accessing the fuel filler cap and all those sorts of things. And yeah, as such the 800 was first launched in 1983, and obviously it revolutionized or kick-started the passenger car segment in India, as it had very industry first features like monocoque chassis, bucket type front seats, and even floor mounted gear lever. So moving forward to the front fascia of this car, obviously when you look at it you get to know that this is the third gen car because of those lights. And yeah, that grille, I love it, the way it's designed. Small holes are there, it's mesh type obviously, and there is the Maruti logo, chrome logo. And obviously this car till 2003 it was offered with Maruti logo in the front grille, and from 2004 the last gen model that had like different sort of headlight design that came with the Suzuki logo, and it was continued till 2014 when it was finally discontinued because of the BS4 norms. And as such, obviously black color plastic bumper, reflector type halogen headlights. Obviously these are actually solid glass, it's not plastic, so the light throw is also good because I've upgraded the light and placed some relay and all those sorts of features. Everything else is very clean. The panels back in those days were also very good, doesn't show much flex. And yeah, obviously these are the windshield dispenser, nice big windshield, like in accordance to the car, like the windshield of the car. Obviously this was made like considering cost cutting and all those sorts of things, but not like nowadays car which come with single wipers. Cost cutting was done in really, like, it cannot be seen that cost cutting is there in lots of things. The front indicators are down in the bumper, which are really not very visible sometimes. And yeah, moving to the side profile of the car, this is the side profile, really very clean look. It measures around 3.3 meters in length and 1.4 meters in height and something like that, 1.4 meters in width. And also the ground clearance is awesome, 170 mm. Considering other small hatchbacks, it's really good because some small hatchback like from Hyundai, Eon and all had very less ground clearance, and the weight of the car is also very less, around 600 kg. The fuel filler cap is there, and obviously you have to open it with the key, and it's around 28 liters. The average of this car is around 17 kilometers per liter with the F8B engine. And yeah, that sort of thing. So obviously 12-inch wheels, the tire section is 145/70 R12, so it's, considering the car, it's on the wider side. Obviously radial tire, no, these are not tubeless tire, these are tube type tires. Front gates disc brakes, solid steel disc, and rear gates drum. Obviously the brake is not a strong point in this car. Above 90 kilometers per hour the brakes brakes really fail to work, and it's not too that safe to drive this car above those because the brakes are, you have to really press it very hard. This car is very raw, very direct. I'll give you the drive impression, you will know lots of vibrations are there, but it actually feels nice to drive at certain RPM, at certain speed. It's really very smooth. So side here again, panel gets indicator. This mirror or RVM to the co-driver side is doesn't come with the car itself. I installed it later. Rain guards, obviously accessories, body colored, not body colored door handles, plastic door handles, black color flappy type. Obviously key for locking and unlocking the driver's side or co-driver's side door. To the driver's side door also similar thing. And yeah, the window section in this, or the windows in this car, is really very big quarter glass here, so person does not get claustrophobic inside the car. It's like cost cutting was there. Even then the window section glass area is really big. And again, for opening the boot you have to use the key. So this is the rear profile of the car. Obviously again black colored bumper. Body colored bumper was also available with this car. So this car Maruti used to offer it with many variants. Across many variants it was sold from like 1983 to like 2014, but from 2004 the 5-speed gearbox car didn't was sold very much, but it used to come with AC. This particular version till 2003 didn't had AC. For AC you have to go for the FAD engine, which was the auto engine, and that was the 4-valve engine. Obviously same 796cc engine, but it was 4-valve, so it made a little bit of more power, like 48 horsepower and 69 Newton meters of torque. So Maruti used to offer the 802 engines, also numerous number or number of variants like special something like that with body colored bumpers and all those sorts of things. So there is the license plate. The car my father bought it from Shillong earlier, so Shillong written here. Actually I don't think it will be visible because it is actually fading away, but again then after 15 years the car was registered in Sibsagar, so the license plate is now AS. And obviously halogen type lights, this car didn't have any single LED light, but I'm planning to upgrade the lights with LED bulbs. So high storm brake light is here, not above there. And obviously lots of stickering, Maruti Suzuki stickering there, 800 stickering, Bharat 2 or Bharat stage 2. Obviously the car is Bharat stage 2. And for opening the tail of the car you have to put it like this. Sorry, I actually locked it, and then press it. So it's very light. Single strut is there. The strut is actually from Soa written here. Hope you can see that. And yeah, little bit of soft touch material is done here. Obviously I put a plastic here because I sometimes used to carry cylinder in this car, so I put a plastic here so that the carpeting doesn't get ruined. And yeah, obviously belts have been changed in this car, timing belt also changed, but nothing major changes have not been done to this car. This is completely in stock condition. So this is the clutch cable, because the clutch felt a little bit hard, so I actually changed the clutch cable. And then again the boot is flushed, but what's the use of making it flush? But even then a big size luggage can be put here or bag can be put here, and it's easy to take it in and out because the boot is not deep enough. So the boot size is not that great. It's around 173 liters or something like that, but you can obviously fold the seats to the front of 60-40 or 50-50 split seat, but a bench type seat is there. The rear passenger seat doesn't get any height adjustable headrest, but there are good like 3-point type seat belts for both the rear passengers. This car can only sit 4 people. So Pioneer speakers, obviously aftermarket speakers were installed by my father. Then lots of body color material or metal is exposed. These are actually soft touch type material like resin, what you call it, or leather type finish is given. The spare wheel is down under here, so you have to open it like this. Hope you can understand. I don't want to open it because nothing special to show it. And obviously I can show you one thing. The tire is the original tire, the spare wheel. So the tire is like 17 years old. Obviously it has not shown any cracks and all those sorts of things, and if it does then I will change the tire, because if cracks come out in tire it is better to change that. So carpeting done really very nicely. Cost cutting was done even though it was not visible, and back in those days people didn't even care all these sorts of things. And let's now close it and go to the inside, to the rear seats, and show you more. So you have to open the door like this. The door only opens this much, not wide enough. Obviously the car is really very short. The wheelbase is around 2100 mm or something like that. So interior spacing for the rear passengers are not that great, but the door panels here, obviously metal is exposed, but door panel and body color, and obviously the door panel here gets some soft touch type material. So how many cars do you see nowadays with this kind of thing? But it we in the 800 actually got it. Obviously the seats are also leatherite type seats, mind it, and this actually feels like velvet or cover, so this was installed later. But the front seat covers I removed it, as the original seat covers were leatherite. Nice stitching were done and it's really very comfortable, the front seats. So obviously the doors doesn't get any door pockets. There is a single door pocket in the co-driver side door here, which is a magazine holder actually, and I put some cloth there to clean the windshield and all those sorts of things. So yeah, hand crank, you have to hand crank it, no power windows or as such thing, obviously you know that. So window rolling up and down is a bit of a work here, but obviously every single window is open, as I've maintained the car really nicely. So this is the quarter glass here, obviously quarter glass there, so person doesn't get claustrophobic in here. So it was like designed in such way because the car is really very small, so coming in and going out is bit of a work in the rear seats if you are a really very big person. And yeah, let me remove the glass here and keep it here. So this is how the seats are, not very like bad, but the seats are really laid back nicely and it is like well cushioned. But even then you can see the headroom, don't want to talk about it. Like above 5-8 person are not very comfortable in 800, and obviously there is a handle here to hold. Lots of sunlight come here because the window section is so big. You can see obviously 3-point type seat belts, but the seat belt mechanism is exposed and people didn't even care at this time. The headliner is fairly of decent quality. I have like tried to keep it clean. I've been driving this car for last 7 years. Obviously rear rail or handle here to do also the co-driver side seat, no hook and all those sorts of things. Now coming to the rear under thigh support, not great. Knee room decent, leg room obviously not good, and I have placed this seat considering a average size person like around 5'8", and my height is around 5'5", so I have decent leg room and obviously knee room. But people above 5'8" doesn't will not feel comfortable in this seat. Obviously large hump is there, so 3 people cannot sit here, just forget it. Even if you are adjusting, you will really feel very uncomfortable. And there is a large bump here in the middle or the floor section here. Actually that's a speaker that's dangling around. I have to like fix it because I have installed a USB kind of like a music system. And that's it on the rear interior. The front seat doesn't get any magazine holder or as such thing for pockets or all those sorts of things. No dome light here because the front dome light there actually covers the cabin. The cabin is really very small. Now let's move to the driver's side and show you more. And again, opening the door, squeaking sound, lots of squeaking sound is making. Sorry, the car is a little bit dirty. I didn't even thought of like cleaning it before making this video. I'm a bit lazy. I don't know why there is a stick, but I actually know why there is a stick. Never used it, but I will show it. So stick of truth, actually there is a real silencer and there is a cutout in the bumper here, so no fake stuff, nothing, no gimmicks in this car. This car is really very raw and it really feels nice to drive. That's why I never allowed my father to sell this car. Obviously no pocket in the driver's side door, but the ceiling here are actually nice. There is an antenna placed here, no surfing antenna, all those sorts of. We didn't even know what surfing antenna was when this car was bought by my father. I was in class 6, interested in cars but didn't know anything about the cars. So the antenna is there, which you have to place it by yourself. And again, look at the seats, leather type seats, really very nice, comfy bucket type seats, cushioning done really nicely, nice stitching. So different types of materials are used, black and gray color. Interior, the dashboard obviously hard plastic. At that time the people didn't even thought all those sorts of things like hard plastic, soft touch material and all those sorts of things. The footwell area spacing is not that great, so no dirt pedal obviously. So let's get inside. Again, hand crank for window rolling up and down, and these rain guards actually are made of accessories. So coming to the co-driver side, again same situation, seat belts are there, 3-point type seat belts. Then moving to the sunset and all those sorts of things. The sunsets are fairly of decent size. From the front it really blocks nicely, but when you detach it and move it to the side, a large area is left out, so not much of an use for using it like this. The inside rear view mirror is actually wide enough. Obviously the outside rear view mirrors also offers nice visibility of viewing angles, but those are a bit on the smaller side. Talking about the inside rear view mirror, it's wide enough. You can really see the whole rear window of the car very nicely, and the oncoming traffic can also be seen. Obviously no auto dimming function. I didn't even know what auto dimming mirror was back in like when this car was bought. And yeah, again dome light, which is actually halogen, thinking to upgrade it again to LED bulb. Then again to the co-driver side, see the sunset, same condition. You can also detach it, fairly of nice size, but no vanity mirror as such. Again, I didn't even know what vanity mirror were back in those days. So this is the dashboard design of the car. Twitter placed there, which doesn't work nowadays. And yeah, some little bit of cover hole is here. There are also some storage space. There is more storage space here. The actual center console, but there are lots of storage space in the dashboard itself, even though the dashboard is very small. And there are some dummy area for like placement of music system and all those sorts of things. Ashtray is here, 12-volt socket, which we didn't got. This place here is the dummy area here for choke. So this engine came with fuel injected, so there is no choke lever or button here. So it was like a tape was pushed there. Nothing much was done actually. And then coming to the glove box, fairly of nice size. And yeah, original first aid kit is still there, which we never got to use. I hope we never get to use it. And then original spare headlight bulbs are there. A wheel hubcap is also there. Yeah, that's it. Not very big, but of decent quality. We also have the original manual book, but right now I am near to my house, and so I have not kept it here, but I will show you right now. You can see it right now. So this is the original manual book of the 800. And now moving forward to the interior again, the steering wheel, obviously 2-spoke steering wheel. Take the Skoda, we got it in 2003. So 800 never had any power steering as such sorts of stuff. It was very direct, very raw car, and lots of vibration. You can feel everything in the steering wheel when you hit a bumper as such, because although the suspension is tuned fairly nicely, because this car, the third gen car, came with all wheel coil springs, so the ride quality around good patches is good. Not much jerking was done. And the version before this came with like rear came with parabolic lift up spring, and that car was not very comfortable at the rear, but this car is. And even then the car rides on 12-inch wheel. The ride is very rough, very bumpy. Around bumps you feel everything in the steering wheel, and also on the seats into your bumps. And yeah, obviously now doesn't get tilt and telescopic function. This here Maruti written horn is placed here, so you have to press here to turn on the horn, which actually sounds nice. Lots of dummy button situations are there. I wonder what these will do in a car like 800. And this side is the air cooler, which actually has auto function. It turns on and off by itself sometimes. So let me just turn on the key and like try it. Obviously it's working right now, so I use it, but it turns on sometime by itself, so I have to hit the cooler like with my feet like this sometimes. So there is a button here for AC. This car didn't came with AC, so we don't have that. Obviously this is for like air circulation control. Then the steering wheel is on the thinner side, so my father actually put a cover here. The cover is now actually chipping off. It was at first really nice. It felt like a leatherette type cover. It's actually leatherette type cover, so it's now chipping off. And obviously moving forward, this red button here you see is actually the hazard light switch, so you have to turn the hazard light like that. The controls are really very nicely reached from the steering wheel, and from here also it's really very good. And talking about the front seat comfort and all, the front seat is really very comfortable. You get adjustable headrest in the front seats, no adjustable headrest in the rear seat. So obviously I cannot show you like with one hand, but here you can see adjustable headrest. So there is a button there to actually put the headrest below, and yeah, that's there. So headroom is pretty decent, like around 6 footer people have seen driving this car. And after seeing lots of 800 out on the road, it even till today doesn't get any boring. Even though looking at tons of car, it was really a very good car. And obviously now the front seats are good, they are wide enough. As you can see, cushioning also done really very nicely. 3-point type seat belts are there, which I use because you have to use it. It gets really very scary after 90 kilometers per hour in this car. This car I can, like, even today can actually go till 120 kilometers per hour, even though it's a 70-year-old car, because the car we haven't driven much. As you can see, moving towards the instrument console, 48,000, some 452 kilometers only done. So talking about the instrument console in particular, fully analog, only a speedometer is there, which reads up to 145 km per hour, and this car can actually go to the top speed mark written in the speedometer, 144 km per hour. I will not drive to this speed today and show you. I never driven it to those speeds because it gets really very scary after 100 km per hour, because the brakes are not that great in this car. Obviously no power brakes. The car with the auto engine, the F8 D engine came with the, like, 4-valve engine came with the powered brakes, but not this. And again, moving to the instrument console, to the right side you can see the analog fuel meter, also heat meter. Nothing much more complicated, very simple to read. Even a kid can know what's written here. And yeah, meters actually works. Everything in this car actually works perfectly. Only this tweeters doesn't work, because at first when my father bought this car, he put a cassette player here, which is eventually stopped working, and also cassettes are nowadays not available. So I actually replaced it with a USB type system here, and then I did some jugaad, like I got a Bluetooth module here and I plug it into the USB port there, and this aux into the aux here, and then I connect my phone and listen to music like that in this car. And we showing you the, giving you the sound check and all those things in this car. It actually sounds nice, but I won't be doing that. Again, this is the gear lever, here is the center console. No place for cup holder and all those sorts of things, but you can actually keep a phone here. Obviously this Sonyo S3, which we didn't got, it was as an accessory back in those days. And then there is the manual handbrake. The gear lever obviously is comfortable to hold. It's a fairly nice size 4-speed gear, as you can see, reverse to this side. And this here actually got leather type material. The handbrake, I did some experiment back in when I was kid. I put some red taping here, so to think or to feel like it's a nose button, because back in those days Fast and Furious were out. And here obviously the belt buckles, which actually works. Everything works in this car, as I've already told you. So that's everything on the interior of the 800, of my 800. Now let's pop up the hood and show you the engine and tell a little bit or a few details about the engine of this car, and also show you how I have maintained the car. So let's do that. So that's the engine bay of the car, that's the hood. No insulation done, no insulation on the firewall. So at summer it becomes very hot inside the cabin driving this car, because all the heat goes inside. And as such you will see very less plastic material. Also the motorcoque chassis can be seen here, no exposed things are there. Obviously there are blank spaces around the engine, but very less, considering like the age of the car. Back in those days cost cutting were not done very much, you cannot see it everywhere. Fresh battery was placed or installed lately. Then the intake manifold is made of solid cast aluminum, not like nowadays or newer cars, which even expensive car comes with plastic intake manifold. The throttle body was not drive by wire, it was actually manual. Here you can see cable operated. So the engine is very responsive. Obviously it's not much powerful engine, but if you keep the car in reverence, it really pulls very nicely. Obviously this is the inlet for the air filter, so it was actually plastic. But talking about the engine, this is the F8B engine, 796cc. Here you can see the original plaque here, it's still there. I won't be showing you the chassis number and all those sorts of things, but yeah, the F8B engine made, obviously it was fuel injected, so it was the same engine from construction, or the in basic engine construction was same when the car was like launched in 1983. So back in 1983 it came with, or till the second gen car, it came with carbureted type engine. So the engine made around 43 horsepower or 44 horsepower and little bit of more torque than this. But with BS2 norms coming in, and with the engine getting fuel injected, it started making less power, like around 40 horsepower and 59 Nm of torque. And this engine came with 4-speed gearbox. And Maruti also offered 800 with another engine which is known as F8D engine. That was the Alto engine actually, which was a 4-valve engine. Obviously same 796cc, but that engine made little bit of more power. That made around 49 or 48 horsepower, sorry, and 69 newton meters of torque. And that engine also had AC and all those sorts of. This engine didn't have AC, but from 2004 till 2014, 800 was sold with AC. And back in those days when we got this car, it was actually a luxury feature, AC and all those sorts of things. So talking about the brake booster or brake cylinder, here you can see the master cylinder doesn't has any brake boost, because if there is brake boost, a pipe from the intake manifold would be connected there. So the brakes in this car is really very hard. It's not very strong point, even though it has front solid disc brakes or steel disc brakes, solid steel disc brakes, and rear drum, even though the brakes are really very bad, not that great. It's really very hard and sometimes it gets spongy, so driving this car is not that safe. So that was everything about the engine bay and all the sorts of things. So about its interior and exterior of my 800. So without any further delay, let's now go out for a drive and tell you how my 17-year-old car feels to drive out on the road. So let's do that. So yeah, right now driving my 800. Obviously the roads out here around my house is good here in Jorhat, like a little bit of area is good. So as I've already told you, the visibility in the 800 is really very good. The outside rear mirrors are a bit on the smaller side, but they really look nice. The car really pulls nicely. The engine is in a very good condition. It's well maintained, and also the inside rear view mirror also offers nice viewing angle. It's really very wide. It may be slim, but it's wide. And as I've already told you, the brakes are not the strongest point in this car, so you have to really put lots of effort, like while stopping the car. And as such, you can see the engine really pulls nicely. So all the engine noise you can hear inside, lots of like small rattling noise of the windows can be heard. And talking about NVH levels, there is no NVH level that's maintained. You can hear every single thing, road noise, tire noise, everything inside this car. But the best feature about this car, due to its dimension, is taking U-turns and all those sorts of things, and even parking. The car is really very good. And right now I will take a U-turn in this road, and I will show you how effortless it is to take a U-turn in this car. So yeah, sometimes it takes a bit effort to like shift gears in this car, but the gear is actually smooth. I was not actually pressing the clutch very nicely, so it took a little bit of effort. So clutch is, right now the car is been like driven for around 49,000 kilometers, 48,000 kilometers. So it's light, it's not that on the harder side, and obviously I've changed the clutch cable and all those sorts of stuff. So yeah, that's how easy taking U-turn in this car is. And right now moving. So as I've already told you, the car really pulls nicely. The unladen weight or the car weight of the car is around 600 kgs. So the power to weight ratio of this car is really very good. It pulls so nicely that around third gear easily it is achieved, and going to 100 takes a bit time. And as I've already mentioned you, I guess this is the first Indian car to actually hit the top speed mark in the speedometer. So the top speed claimed was around 144 kilometers per hour in this car, which is actually what's written in the speedometer here. I don't know that was VBox or what, but I have actually pushed this car till to 120. So right now I'm doing 100, and it's that effortless, but you can hear every single thing. The steering, as it doesn't get any power steering or those sorts of stuff, it's very direct, it's very raw. But around higher speeds, it becomes very loose. So it doesn't feel really very connected. So you're gonna feel every single bump, because this car is riding in like on 12-inch wheels, so you're gonna feel every single bumps. But the suspension are fairly well tuned, so it's not that bad. And as such, driving around in this road is not that safe, because people drive like mad. This guy is not even wearing helmet, and he's like flying with his 110cc scooter Squid. And yeah, talking more about the 800, obviously it feels really nice to drive. Actually, it's very raw. You can feel the clicky feeling of the gear shifts. The gear shifts are really very nice. It is smooth now because the car has been driven for around 48,000 49,000 kilometers. I hope the camera won't be able to cut, or the mic won't be able to cut all the vibration. I'm sorry if there is lots of vibration or distortion noise, because the NVH levels inside the car is not that great. The suspension, as I've told you, is fairly very nicely tuned, but due to the wheel size, you're gonna feel everything, and whosoever is driving this car will gonna feel everything in the steering wheel, and also passengers can feel everything in their seats. The seats are really well padded, and these are obviously leather type material was given back in those days in the 800 itself. That's actually funny because nowadays an expensive car doesn't get leather type seats. And I don't think newer people who are actually learn to drive in newer cars like this Tiago going in front of me that have power steering and powered brakes will be able to safely drive the 800, because it's very raw. The brakes are not that great. You have to put really very nice effort to brake this car or stop this car. But one thing I have to say, the ground clearance of the car is really very good. It's something like the Kwid itself. Even though the Kwid has larger wheels, it has the same ground clearance like the 800. So the 800, if 13-inch wheels could have been given or would have been given by Suzuki, then it would have been great, really very great. But going over bad patches is not that bad in this car. It's actually good in some sort of ways. So the seat doesn't get any high stability. You don't even need all those sorts of things in a car like 800. And yeah, you're gonna feel every sort of bumps and all those sorts of things. But everything, leaving everything, in terms of driving, the car really pulls very nicely. Obviously now I am driving alone, but even then the car pulls really very nicely with 4 people on board. This is a really very great car. It's not that bad to drive, and obviously I did a mistake and fell into a big pothole because the roads out here is not that safe. But even then the car, due to the ground clearance, came out nicely. But I don't drive the car very rashly because I didn't allow my father to sell this car for a reason, because it drives very nicely. It's effortless, it's nice to drive, it's really very good. And obviously the maintenance cost of this car is like a motorcycle. It's around 1200, hardly 1200 rupees if you don't have to change any parts like changing oil and all those sorts of things. Lower, very low maintenance, good mileage like around 17-18 kilometers per liter. Even still this car returns this much of mileage. So what more do you need from a car? It's a good alternative to bikes. At least it's much more safer than bike or a motorcycle. I don't own a motorcycle, I own a Vespa, but even then cars are much safer than two-wheelers. Obviously, no matter two-wheelers, whatever they get, cornering, ABS, traction control, whatever sorts of thing, cars are always much safer. That was everything about my driving experience of my 17-year-old Maruti 800. It still pulls nicely. It pulls it's fast enough, like out from the factory. Yeah, there are lots of rattling and vibrating noise, but that's the beauty of this car. It's actually raw. It feels good to drive, and it's actually a good city car. Also, you can easily cruise in highway like long distances, because the engine is actually water cooled and the mileage is also good. So if you are watching the video till now, make sure you like the video, and if you are a new visitor to this channel, then subscribe to the channel. Also press that bell notification icon, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. So that's it for today. Bye.